It's a bittersweet day, a great win for you guys, and then the disappointment with Chase. Can you just weigh in on that dichotomy there?
Yeah, that's sort of the agony sometimes of a four-car team when one of them does so well. I mean, it has just an absolute flawless day, and I think with what William and the 24 and Rudy and that team did, it shows you that you just can't make any mistakes, right? You have to, these days more than ever, be flawless, and it means that the whole weekend's got to come together, from qualifying to restarts, pit road strategy, as well as pit stops and restarts, and those guys did it flawlessly. Unfortunately, we had some mistakes. The 48 was just off. I haven't really downloaded with them. They were off. I'm not sure how they lost some of the track position, but clearly miscalculation with the 9 car, and that was huge. He was stretching. He came in a little bit short the first stop, and so they were trying to stretch it to get closer on the strategy of the others. And you always want to pad yourself here just in case there's a lot of restarts at the end, and the fuel just wasn't there. So it was really unfortunate. And I haven't talked to Kyle. I just know I think it's the last section, he was speeding off pit road, and again, that's just a tiny little mistake, but it ended up being huge, because I think they had a car that could compete with William and run 1-2 between those two guys, or battle it out between them.
If you had to go into Daytona knowing you needed to win to make the playoffs, how stressful would that be on you, and what do you think Chase is going through right now?
I think we felt like we've needed to win for a few weeks. So, I think that you always race to win, so it doesn't really change your mindset a whole lot. It just puts a little bit more pressure because of what is at stake. But I also know that they can certainly win there. So, we'll do everything we can to gear those guys up. And, I think right now it's just more the disappointment that we had not. And I don't know. They had a great car. I don't know if we could, because there were no cautions, other than the one that basically he caused. I don't know that there was a way to get him up there in a winning position today without some more cautions. But they had the car, and everything was going their way to be able to do that. So we're just going to leave here disappointed in that. And then, next week, it's pretty much the writing's on the wall. We know that we're not going to get all 4 of our cars into the playoffs, so we try to make sure that we get one more in there, and I know those guys are capable of doing it, and it's a crapshoot at Daytona, right? Anything can happen.
We'll go to Nathan, then to Dustin, then to Jim.
Nathan Song with a podium finish. Jeff, probably fair to say that this is Williams' breakout season, so just kind of throwing it back a little bit, does his breakout season at all kind of remind you of your breakout season almost 30 years ago?
I love what I'm seeing out of the whole team, and it's hard for me to go back 30 years and remember exactly how that went down. But for us internally, it's just been this nice progression to see he and Rudy clicking, the team, and just everything coming together this year. And then the race cars are there, the pit stops are there, but then Williams just doing a phenomenal job, and you can see his confidence is there. And racing with some of the best out there on the road course today, and with a lot of pressure on the restarts, and to be able to get to the lead, and he did it perfectly today. So it just goes to show you his maturity and his confidence, huge, and get kind of whatever you want to call that, those 5 races that didn't go the way that they wanted them to, that just puts it in the rearview mirror. So I think it's all just looking forward now.
And in regards to Williams' development, he's talked a lot about how hard he's worked on trying to get better at road courses, his work with Max. Would you consider this road course victory maybe one of the final pieces of his driver puzzle, or do you think he still has more areas where he could get improved?
Well, you never stop improving. That all the way up to my final race, I was working on something. So, but I do love his tenacity and just the way that he approaches every single weekend, and when you have a driver like that is saying give me as much information as I possibly can, whether it's pit road or restart selection or gear selection, braking zones, all those things, like William does. He gets in the sim. It's about helping to develop our tools and make them better, as well as make himself better and the team better, and he's all in. And you still have to have the other ingredients to go along with it, And I think that's what's making them have a standout, breakout, type of year, because the effort they're putting in, as well as the tools that they have at their disposal.
We're going to go to Chris, and then Holly, and then wrap with Andrew.
ChrisKnightGetTrends.com. Jeff, I was just curious how you felt like the organization was heading into the playoffs. There doesn't seem to be a clear favorite of a team going into the playoffs because of the cars and the racing this year.
Yeah, as soon as you think, oh man, they're hot, and watch out for them, it seems like 2 weeks later, you're saying, what happened to them? It's crazy. I'm not as in it as much on the engineering side and everything that these guys are doing of how, but I hear the debriefs and I get enough of the information to realize that, you can be off, it looks like you could be way off, and it's just the tiniest little thing that you adjust or change, and all of a sudden you're right back into it. So you can see every team is trying to hit on that every weekend and struggling. It doesn't matter how good they are. And so I think that's what's going to be critical is as you get into these playoffs, of just making sure that you hit it more times than the other guys, and then get yourself to Phoenix, and then make sure that you do it one last time.
Go to Holly.
Hi, Jeff. Holly Kane with the NASCAR Wire Service. Just about William, how important is it to see him now succeeding on all different kinds of courses? Because that's going to be huge when it comes to the playoffs, and it probably also speaks to his, doing well and growing and learning as a driver and overall.
Yeah, he's capable of winning everywhere, and I know for us as we look at drivers and evaluate drivers, that's what you're looking for, is somebody that's diverse, somebody that's aggressive but also knows how to save the equipment when they need to, somebody can stay calm, in stressful situations, and you want them well-rounded as far as the tracks that they compete on, but you want them well-rounded as a person too, and you see Williams' demeanor, he's pretty calm and cool off the track, but he's aggressive on the track, and that's everything you can ask for out of a driver.
And we'll wrap with Andrew.
Andrew Laguerre, Elmira Star Gazette. Jeff, just wondering if you had any thoughts. Back-to-back races, I think one caution total. I'm just wondering why have we had such clean races 2 weeks in a row on road courses?
Well, first of all, because we're not stopping for the stage breaks. I'm not saying I'm voting for it or against it. I'm just saying that was a change. And so, just those two, parts of the race where you're bringing it under caution and stacking everybody back up is more opportunity to have people bumping and banging and creating more cautions, as we all know. So, honestly, I watched that race today, and I felt like I was watching races from the 90s. It just, to me, it was the kind of race that you used to see at road courses. I laugh throughout my career of I remember a time where people were saying, why do we have two road courses? The road course races aren't very good, and it's just kind of strung out. And then we went to double file restarts, and then we went to stage racing, and all of a sudden the road courses are unbelievable and amazing. And now I think we've gotten better on the mile and a halves, and I think the super speedways seem to be really good, but the short tracks and road courses need a little bit of work. And NASCAR's certainly aware of it, and they're trying some things to sort that out. But it's just hard to get close to the car in front of you to then be able to dive bomb them and make some of these risky moves that then might turn into more cautions. And of course, we all know that we're not seeing a lot of failures like we used to, either, whether it be brake or engine or transmission. This stuff's pretty robust and durable.